Hi everybody, today is the 19th Sunday in Ordinary Time, and although we had to cancel Mass this morning because of rain, of course it looks nice out now, but I wanted to offer a little bit of my homily for your spiritual edification today. So today in our Gospel we hear this powerful story, and it's Jesus walking on the water toward his disciples in the boat during this great storm. And it's a story we know well because it's quite beautiful, really. And something interesting to note is that in ancient times, in the time that the disciples and Jesus were living, water would have been seen as a symbol for chaos, so a symbol for things that are dangerous, a symbol for things that we can't control, even a symbol for death. So to see somebody walking on the water would symbolize that that person has power over all of these negative forces in our world, over the chaos of the world, over death itself. So we hear that story. Jesus is walking on the water. The disciples are afraid when they see Jesus. They think that he's a ghost. But he calls out to them, immediately saying, "Do not be afraid, it is I." And then we hear Peter's voice as the spokesman of the apostles. He says, "Lord, if it is you, command me to come walk toward you on the waves." And Jesus does just that. He commands Peter to come. So then we see Peter making this great act of faith. He gets out of the boat and he starts walking on the water toward Jesus. And it's great, everything's great until he starts to sink. So what happens in that moment? What's Peter's error? What does he do wrong? We hear that he sees the strength of the wind. He sees the storm raging around him, and he starts to sink. I like to think that as he's getting out of the boat, Peter is looking straight at Jesus. He's walking toward his goal. But then he feels this wind, and he starts to look around, and he gets distracted. He took his eyes off of Jesus. He took his eyes off of Jesus and starts to sink. I think this is a great metaphor for us as people of faith, that so often in our lives there are the storms of life that are raging around us, and our attention is taken in all sorts of different directions. We're thrown about, we're tossed about by the waves of the world, and we take our eyes off what's most important, off of Jesus, off of our faith in Jesus Christ, the foundation of who we are, or what it should be our foundation. Right now, we could say that our whole world is in this great storm of a pandemic. There's so much that's unknown. There's so much chaos. And there's a lot of death as well. And all of that creates a great fear within us, great anxieties, and a lot of reasons to be afraid. I know that a lot of parents are afraid right now of what it would mean to send their kids back to school. Can they do that safely? I know a lot of teachers that are doing everything they can to make sure that they have a safe teaching environment in their classroom. I know a lot of people as well who are worried about their work situation, or people who their work situation has changed, or they've been fired because the company can't support people right now during the virus. All of this creates this great stress within us, this great anxiety. And it's been on for so long that we're tired of it. We're sick of all of these things that continue to happen, these things that we can't control, things that we could do before, we can't do anymore. It makes us a little bit angry, I think. And that's only fueled more by watching the news sometimes and by listening to political commentaries on everything. It just makes everything more of a fight rather than really what it is just a sad reality. It's something where we ought to put our faith in something greater than all of these human entities. All of this fear and anxiety is not what the Lord wants for us, my friends. What does he want for us? He wants us to keep our eyes fixed on him, even in the midst of the storms of life, and especially in the midst of the storms of life. So we might have these great anxieties, we might have these great fears, but what we can do with those and give them over to Jesus. We can ask the Lord to be with us within those fears, within those anxieties, and the Lord continues to reassure our hearts that he has this. He's going to continue to bring us through it, and He's going to continue to just show us the way forward, as long as we keep our eyes on Him. I like to think as Christians, everything that we do should be related ultimately to Christ. So if we are worried about something, yes, we might be worried about something. We might have concerns about a lot of things. But what we do with those concerns is what's most important. We bring those to Jesus. Nothing should be able to break through that ultimate confidence we have in our Lord. All of the pandemic things feels like they've shaken us to our core, but there should be an even deeper core within us that is Jesus, that is telling us that the Lord is ultimately the one who has power over the world. So right now, I'd like you to think about, what is the thing you're most anxious about? Where is your greatest stress? What's that great thing within you that is really causing you to fear or maybe to doubt right now? And if we were at Mass, I would say that take that fear right now and put it on the altar. Offer it with the Eucharistic sacrifice. You can still do that right now and offer it on the altar of your heart, asking the Lord to take this sacrifice, offer it with His sacrifice, and transform it into a way that we can put our trust deeper in Him. Keep our eyes firmly fixed on Him. So my prayer for you all today is that you keep your eyes firmly fixed on Jesus, who is our surest foundation, our surest peace, the one who has power over all things in the world. And when we do that, we too will be able to walk on the waters of every storm. God bless you.